So the second pillar is data leakage and risky integrations. So the common pattern is makers connect business data to different services before connector governance is mature. So they often try to solve a practical business problem quickly, but they use the connectors that are available to them. And they combine systems in a way that works for their process. So the issue with that is that the organization may not yet have rules from which connectors are allowed. So which combinations are risky and which integrations actually require our formal review. For example, a Dataverse in your organization may contain structured business data, sometimes sensitive or operationally important. If a flow sends the data through HTTP action to an external endpoint, we need to understand what data is being sent, where it goes, who owns the endpoint, and whether this integration has been reviewed or not. The second would be the SQL and consumer connector. So SQL may contain enterprise or operational data if the data can be combined with a customer service like a Dropbox or Facebook even. The personal storage or external communication tools, their organization may lose control over the data boundary. So that's exactly where the data loss prevention policy design becomes really, really important. And the external API. So many business processes depend on the integration with external service. The question is whether the organization has a review process for API usage, for the authentication, data classification, ownership, and monitoring. So on the next slide, we will look at why it matters from security, compliance, and business continuity perspective. The issue is that connectors allows business data to move systems very quickly. And if that movement is not visible and or governed, the organization can create security compliance and operational risk without even realizing it. So the data leakage, the compliance risk, in a way that audit or compliance teams may ask whether the sensitive data is being protected, where it is stored, who can access it, and whether controls are consistent. So if the connector usage is not governed, it becomes really difficult to prove that the same rules apply across the platform. This can create findings, exceptions, or pressure to restrict Power Platform more aggressively. And that's not what we want when we want to scale Power Platform or increase our adoption. Same goes for broken flows. If we change data loss prevention policy to react to some data being, for example, leaked, if we change the DLP policy that applies to our environment, something may be broken because there would be some flows that rely on a certain structure of connectors. And now we apply this new data loss prevention policy and the flow does not work. And out of nowhere, somebody calls you that, look, this flow is no longer it's no longer available, it doesn't work, and that's crucial for us. So without the visibility and the data loss prevention policy tools that help you identify those that rely on your new change, you are simply blind and you rely on luck. And the last would be loss of trust. Adoption simply slows down. If we move to the Center of Excellence response, so what's the answer from the Center of Excellence towards those risk integrations and data leakage?